Deforestation is a critical environmental challenge that continues to impact Malaysia's ecosystem, climate, and communities. In this video, we will explore how this issue connects to the Sustainable Development Goals, especially those focused on life on land and climate action. We will also examine the policies Malaysia has put in place to combat deforestation and how this effort contributes towards a more sustainable future.
Introduction. Deforestation is referred to the clearing of forests for other non-forest uses. In Malaysia, it often involves the large-scale removal of rainforests, which can lead to the permanent loss of forest cover, unlike selective logging, which might allow for the regeneration. But the major causes is firstly logging, which is used for commercial logging. For example, the extraction of timber for domestic use and export. The next is illegal logging, which is unauthorized and often unsustainable logging practices. And next is infrastructure development, which is the construction of logging roads open up in accessible areas. Next is agriculture also can cause the deforestation. For example, for palm oil plantation, especially in Borneo, it is the single largest river deforestation to make way for all palm monocultures. And for the impact of the deforestation, firstly the environmental impact, which can affect the soil erosion, which can lead to soil erosion, water quality degradation, and habitat fragmentation. And lastly, it can also affect the biodiversity, which can lead to loss of species and disruption of ecosystem services such as loss of pollination, natural pest control, and seed dispersal.
Next is Sustainable Development Goals that is related to the deforestation and how deforestation threatens this SDG. First is SDG 12, Responsible Consumption and Production. There are three ways that deforestation threatens this SDG. First, unsustainable use of natural resources or over-exploitation of forests for timber, agriculture, and mining violates efforts to use resources sustainably. Second, deforestation-linked supply chains. Many products such as palm oil, pepper, and beef drive deforestation, making global consumption patterns unsustainable. Third, increased waste and environmental impact. High demand leads to overproduction, waste, and degradation of ecosystem, opposite of responsible consumption goals. The next SDG that is related to deforestation is SDG 13, Climate Action. Deforestation threatens this SDG by three ways. First, increases greenhouse gas emission. Trees store carbon. Cutting them down releases carbon dioxide, contributing significantly to global warming. Second, weakens climate resilience. Forests protect against floods, droughts, and soil erosion. Their loss makes ecosystem and communities more vulnerable to climate impacts. Third, hinders climate mitigation efforts. Deforestation undermines reforestation and carbon offset strategies that is crucial for limiting temperature rise. And the third SDG that is related to deforestation is SDG 15, Life on Land. Deforestation threatens this SDG by three ways. First, destroys habitat and biodiversity. Forest loss leads to extinction of species and disrupt ecosystem that depend on forest environment. Second, degrades land and ecosystem. Deforestation causes soil erosion, reduces water quality, and weakens natural ecosystem function. Lastly, undermines sustainable forest management. Illegal logging and forest clearing prevent progress towards sustainable use, restoration, and reforestation goals.
Deforestation is a major threat to Malaysian natural resources, but both Sustainable Development Goals and national policies are playing important roles in tackling this issue. Firstly, under SDG 15, Life on Land, deforestation and afforestation efforts are promoted to restore degraded land. In Malaysia, the National Forestry Policy support tree planting campaign and forest rehabilitation to bring back greenery and prevent soil erosion. Secondly, the government is strengthening the forest protection and monitoring. Policies now enforce stricter control on logging, especially in permanent reserve forests. Advanced tools like drones and satellites, along with forest rangers, are used to monitor the forest health. This aligns with SDG 13 climate action. Thirdly, we are moving towards sustainable forest management. The Malaysian Timber Certification Scheme (MTCS) ensures that only legal and eco-friendly logging practices are allowed. This helps balance economic needs with environmental protection. Lastly, biodiversity conservation is a key focus. Policies such as the National Policy on Biological Diversity aim to protect the endangered species and ecosystem. More protected areas like national parks and wildlife sanctuaries are being established, all in line with SDG 15 to stop the biodiversity loss caused by deforestation. In short, Malaysia is combining international goals and national policies to not only reduce the deforestation but also to protect the forest ecosystem for future generations.
So next, I will move to which existing Malaysian policy are relevant to manage this issue. So firstly, we use the Environmental Quality Act, so regulating activity that impact the environmental quality, including the land clearing and forest conversion via Environmental Impact Assessment or EIA. Second is National Forestry Policy in 1978. Its aim to ensure sustainable forest management, promote biodiversity conservation, and balance the development with the forest protection. And also it can encourage the gathering of permanent forest reserve and implementation of sustainable logging practice. So how about SDGs and policy help to manage this deforestation? So SDGs provide a global target. For example, SDG 15 aim to help deforestation and restore degraded forests, while SDG 30 encourage the action to combat climate change by protecting carbon sink like a forest. So national policy implement those targets through reforestation and afforestation program, for example, forest plantation development program. Second is protected area and conservation zone. So as example, we know at Taman Negara, wildlife sanctuaries. And last is community-based forest management. It also involve the indigenous and local community in this forest direction.
Next part is a 4 real-world example in Malaysia. The first one is Royal Belum State Park, Perak. Royal Belum is part of one of the oldest rainforests on Earth and a critical habitat for endangered species like hornbills, Malayan tigers, and elephants. Besides its biodiversity, it supports ecotourism and play roles in central forest pine plan, helping Malaysia achieve SDG 15, which is life on land. The second one is Heart of Borneo, Sabah and Sarawak. The Heart of Borneo is a transboundary conservation project involving Malaysia, Indonesia, and Brunei. In Sabah and Sarawak, it protects over 6 million hectares of rainforest, supports indigenous communities, and promotes sustainable land use, aligning with both SDG 13, which is climate action, and SDG 15. The third one is the Ramakot Forest Reserve Sabah. The Ramakot is a globally recognized example of sustainable logging. It was the first tropical forest in Southern Asia to be FSC certified. The Sabah Forestry Department managed it using reduced impact logging, proving that forests can be used economically without harming biodiversity. And the last example is logging ban in Mulu Muda Forest Reserve, Kedah. To protect water sources and forest cover, Kedah placed a logging moratorium on Ulu Muda in 2018. The area supplies water to millions of the northern states. This action supports Malaysian national forestry policy and help maintain environmental sustain stability in the region. These efforts show that the strong policies and conservation work Malaysia can protect its natural resources for the future.
In conclusion, forests are essential to life because they provide clean air and water, regulate our climate, and are home to countless plant and animal species. Yet, deforestation continues due to logging, farming, and development. Each of us can help protect forests by making small, conscious choice. One simple action is to reduce our use of paper and wood by using recycled products, avoid waste, and choose items made from sustainable sources. We can also support reforestation programs that restore damaged forests, absorb carbon, and rebuild ecosystems. Even planting a single tree or donating to a trusted cause can make a difference. In addition, our food choice matters too. By eating sustainably and choosing local and seasonal foods, reducing food waste and cutting down on products linked to deforestation, we can lower the pressure on forest land. Lastly, we can all help by spreading awareness, talk to others, share facts, and encourage responsible habits in our community. The more people understand the importance of forests, the more impact we can have. In short, protecting forests starts with simple steps. The first one is using less, choosing better, and speaking up. Together, our everyday action can help stop deforestation and